I'm not here to sugarcoat nothing. I grew up in Milwaukee, in the hood, where making it out was never promised. I've been through betrayal, pain, and times where I almost lost everything, including my life. But I'm still here. I'm still standing. This channel is about real stories, raw lessons, and surviving what most people don't even talk about. If you from the struggle or even want the truth, you in the right place. This is my story, and it's just getting started. What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? Yeah, Samir back here again. I just want to say, man, I thank y'all, the people that's been supporting me so far, man, on my journey. Y'all here, like I said, I'm from Milwaukee. I'm just giving you guys my life, man. And I'm trying to come out with another banger, man. I see that you guys, I know a lot of you guys love them jail stories, things like that. So I'm gonna give you guys a jail story about Milwaukee. I know a lot of you guys seen the title, the thumbnail. Yeah, this is gonna be about Jeffrey. But before I get into that, man, like I said, subscribe, ring the bell, definitely share this with anybody you think that, want to hear my story, man. Maybe it could help one of these young guys out here, man, because I'm not just giving stories out here just to give stories. Each story right now, I'm trying to get a lesson out of each story, even the ones that don't have anything to do with me, man. So with that being said, man, let me give you guys kind of a breakdown on how the Milwaukee prison is, the Milwaukee penal system, man, is set up. I know out here because I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now as I'm doing this video, but in Atlanta, Georgia goes from level 1 to level 5, right? Probably get a level 6, and each one of them means something different. In Wisconsin, it's kind of like medium to supermax, right? That's how we look at the systems like that. So when you're looking at the juvenile systems, at the time that I was there, we had Wales Boys Home and we had Lincoln Hills. That was for the juvenile prisoners. If you went to juvenile facility, and Wales was like crazy. And I'm gonna give you guys later on, I'm gonna give you guys stories about when I was in Wales, man. There's some crazy stories about that. Wales was more like the gang members, the gang unit, everybody in gangs, that's where you go. Lincoln Hills was more of like you coming from the outskirts of like Milwaukee and things like that, you might go to Lincoln Hills. I mean, yeah, they had some gangs and they was kind of co-ed when I was coming up, so they had women and everything in Lincoln Hills. And then you got the adult penitentiaries. You had Dodge. Dodge was intake, or what they call where you lay over at. That was the layover joint. So if you got sentenced, if you had any crimes and you got sentenced to a felony crime during a year or more, then you'll go to Dodge. You'll go to Dodge, and then you go to Dodge. That's like a transfer center. That what they call it up here, transfer center. So that's definitely what Dodge was. Then you had like the maximum securities, because like I said, they went from minimum to supermax. So when you looking at the maximum securities, you had Portage. Portage was like a double max. So it kind of like a transfer center, but Portage was like a double max. It was like a jail inside of a jail, a building inside of a building. You had Walpine. Walpine was a max, but it was one of the oldest prisons that was in Wisconsin. So that's, yeah, you had some terrible kind of holes up there and everything like that. So the hole did not look nice up there, man. And then you got what you call Green Bay. Now, Green Bay was gladiator school. Anything and everything happened in Green Bay. If you go to Green Bay, that's a maximum security prison. That's gladiator school. You know what I'm saying? And then We only had like 3 maximums when I was up there, and you had the women's max, which would be Cheetah. Cheetah was, we only had 1 woman's max, and my sister was up there. I'm gonna tell y'all that story as well. Um, but we only had 1 woman's max. And then when you look at mediums, we had plenty mediums. We had Fox Lake, we had Racing RCI. That's what they called it when I was up there. Um, we had New Lisbon. We had what else? New Lisbon. It was another one, and these were 2 new prisons that was built, because it's a couple of times when Wisconsin was doing their thing, they was transferring people to out of town. Like if you had Wisconsin had contracts with out of town at one point, and you would be up in there, and they'd take you from there, man, and get to transferring you to Tennessee, Florida, anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Wherever they had contracts at, but. At one point, they had the minimum security, the medium security prisons was RCI mainly, Fox Lake, Catamaran. Um, Catamaran is coming back to me, y'all. I ain't been up in Wisconsin in probably like 7 years, so just give me a minute. So Catamaran, and I think it was one more when I was up there, but then, like I said, New Lisbon, and it's another one that was fairly new, but then was like the mediums, and then you had minimum securities. Now the medium securities, you had fences around. Now the maximums, you will have like the yard, you have a big old ditch, and then you'll have a big old wall that come up, and then you'll have the fences around that wall, and then you go into the back of there, there's some more fences around that, then you go into the back of there's more fences around that. The maximum security would have been hard to escape, especially in Wisconsin, man. You know, and then the double max, you got the same setup when you on the outside of that max. So when you a max medium status, you might be going on the outside yard instead of the inside yard. That's why they called it double max, because they had inside yards, because they had a building inside a building. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be going on the inside yard instead of the outside yard. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all kind of get that picture. Like I kind of explain it to you when I get to that point. But yeah, so that's how the double maxes was kind of set up, and the super maxes is like you inside the room, you get letters, you don't get no letters, no contact with your family. When you do get the letters, they be over a screen where the guard can read, everybody can read, you know what I'm saying? The phone calls, you take showers in the room, you never come out your room. You probably get, like they say, every 3 days, you probably get an hour out your cell. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of, and then you got the minimums. Now the minimums is where you probably get drug treatment, and with Wisconsin they'll mix it up too. They'll do minimum medium, where you'll be, even though you're a minimum security prison, you'll be in a medium camp. Even though you're a medium security prison, you'll be in a high max camp. So you'll be in a maximum camp, like super max or double max, for real. And that's how I got to meet Dahmer, because I was a medium prisoner. I went down to medium status, and they end up sending me to the high max, the double max camp, because they had opened up the dormitory on that camp and said that was for medium inmates, which was crazy. You still in the wall, you in a double max, on top of not just being in a max, you in a double max. And they say that's for medium inmates, which I never understood that, man. But anyway, yeah, so then you got your minimum security prisons, and your minimum security prisons basically don't have fences around it. You can do whatever, you can do a lot of things, and if they do got a fence, it's just a fence, but ain't no barbed wire or anything. You know what I'm saying? So you just walking around there. Can people escape? Yeah, they can. Have people try to escape? Yes, they have. Have people escape? Yes, they have. Now, The difference with Milwaukee prisons and Georgia prisons is that if you work any kind of detail in Milwaukee, you're gonna get paid. Now, whether it's I think the cheapest you get paid is like 5 cents an hour. You know what I'm saying? And then shout out to Bill Feasy, shout out to Jamaica, man. Y'all definitely motivated me to do some of these videos, so I definitely want to give y'all a shout out too as well. But yeah, you definitely getting paid, man. You getting paid at least 5 cents. Like I worked in the kitchen, you know, and when you work in the kitchen, I got paid like 8 cents an hour. You know, and then if you work in the kitchen on a unit like in the Mac, like when I was in the Max, even though I was a medium security, when I worked in the kitchen on in a dormitory, you get paid like 20 cents an hour. You know what I'm saying? So that's how, if you ain't have help on the street, people will definitely, that's how you was getting your money. The messed up part about Wisconsin is that they got to take a child support from that as well. So it really didn't matter. You really wasn't getting paid because they was trying to get it how they lived. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm getting hot. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me find me some shade, man. Find me some shade. Talk to y'all. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm just gonna come out here. Hold on. Fucking B or whatever. Anyway, y'all. Yeah, this feel a lot better. But yeah, where was I? But I didn't forgot where I was anyway. But I'm just gonna start here. You know, Wisconsin prisons, man. What was I? Anyway, what I was saying was that Wisconsin prisons was crazy, man. You know, how they were set up and how things were set up as far as like minimum, max, medium, things like that. It was just all over the place. But I'm gonna get to the story. I just wanted to give y'all just a little hint on how I set up. And then one more thing before I do get to it though, y'all. I want to tell y'all, like when it comes to the dangers, Green Bay was dangerous, and when it's not dangerous, not just from shanking. People don't get shanked a lot in Wisconsin. The guards run the prison. Anybody that came from Wisconsin prison tell you something different, you know, they're lying. I could tell you that down. The guards run everything. Yeah, it's plenty gang members, it's plenty this, plenty that, but the guards run it. You don't even got the lifers acting the fool. That's how much the guards run it. Real life. Now, do people get shanked? Yes. Do people get hit in the head with a lock in a sock? Yes. Soap in a sock? Yes. Do people get through water on them? Yes. Do all that stuff happen up in there? Absolutely. But does it happen like the rate that is happening in Georgia? Absolutely not. You know, I could put it this way: a mother, son that goes to prison in Wisconsin sometimes is happy because they say at least my son is alive. They don't have to too much worry about their son getting killed in prison. Yes, in Wisconsin, you definitely got to worry about dying of natural causes. They try everything in their power to make sure you do, brother. Ain't none of that other stuff. So, you know, I know in other prisons it's different, but Wisconsin is not like that. Yeah, we get grimy, and that's why I'm telling you this story about Jeffrey, man. You know, it happens. So it happens at every prison, man. And it happens more in other prisons than it happens in others. So I just wanted to give y'all kind of how it was set up. So at this point in time, I'm coming from Dodge, the transitional center. You know what I'm saying? I got a little time. I got locked up. I got that 12-year sentence. But 12 years ain't really a lot. So when they do all they things, they come up with a number and say, okay, well, you still medium security. I had to do about 2 years in max off that 12, and then I went to medium security inmate, medium high. When I was medium high, they transferred me from there, and they transferred me to a double max, which was Portage. Portage is the double max. Now, when you walk into Portage, it looks just like a regular building from the outside. You can't even really tell that it's a prison or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And the difference between Portage and Walpine, when you go to Walpine look like a castle. Portage looks just like a regular building, whatever. You can't even tell. So they let you off the bus. The crazy part is they let you off the bus on the outside. Then you'll pull into the then you'll walk into like a garage. And when you walk into the garage comes down. Then you go into the sally ports, everything like that, where they got the rooms, everything like that. Boom. And then they strip you, they do the little jail stuff, cough, drop your drawers, cough, boom, 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 boom. You take your shower, you do everything you got to do. And then this all the groups that come in. And now up here, they don't have buses where like you got 100 buses pulling up like you may see in Georgia at one time coming from different areas of the state. Because it ain't like that. It's just not like that. You know what I'm saying? Up there. So, we go from there, then they take us to, if you a maximum security prison, then you're going to have, you got to go to your intake cottage. Now, they cottages was like A, B, C, D, all of that, you know what I'm saying? And it's different cottages, but when you going into this area, you go down the hall and then you go into like a outside courtyard. Now, this outside courtyard, by each, you'll see letters on the doors of the outside courtyard coming around. And on each courtyard, it got like a basketball court, horseshoes, things like that you could play. Like, it don't got like a lot of things. It ain't got like no handball. They go to the gym for that, and all that's in the gym. But on the backyard courtyard, bench, horseshoes, basketball court, boom. And then you'll go from there. They got they got another courtyard on the inside of this big thing. They got another courtyard that others could go to, and you could play like your volleyball, things like that. So when you come out on this yard, then they got that yard over there, which you got to go through another fence to even get to that yard over there. And then you got another yard over there. Boom. Now, this is all on the inside. Now, you do also got an outside courtyard on the outside, a big, that's called the big courtyard. You got that big courtyard on the outside where, and the crazy part where some of the medium maximum inmates, where they got to a little low status, that's where they went and did what they did. Now, what's going on in Portage is going on in Portage, but now that I'm medium status, they take me to the dormitory area. So I walk through there, I see the courtyards, everything. Yeah, you still mingling with the max inmates, all of that, man, going to the library with them. Sometimes you be in the gym with them and things like that. Going to school with them, things like that. But you don't go to rec like the big courtyard with them. Like the medium inmates got their own little courtyard. And the craziest part about that, the maximum inmates had a way bigger courtyard. We had to come out on like a little patio, man, that fenced in like we in a hole somewhere, man. We had probably like 200 people in the dorm, man, and it was just crazy to me how they was treating us like we was just more than a maximum. It just seemed like we was super max, man, to me. But anyway, man, so we up in there, man, and at this time, we just hear about the guy Jeffrey like a year before. did that stuff to all them people and things like that, man. And you know, this just going on through the prison, and we hear that he up here, but when he up here, he's on like a protective unit. Like they got a unit for like like they protect the sex offenders. They got a mental health unit and stuff where they definitely protect the mental health people. They got their own unit. But homosexual, everybody else around the people that go whatever way, they around everybody else. But when they, like, you got a high profile case like that and they gotta protect you, they definitely got a whole unit for them people, man, because they super high profile and they know they get on there, they get around people. People want to get at them because, they found out Jeffrey up there, man. And I'm talking about this place, man. You could walk around here, little people talk, yeah, I like killing this. I'm like killing that. I'm like killing that. I'm like, man, these people have a full-blown conversations about murder, man. They already got life sentences and they having full-blown conversations about murder or, unaliving. Excuse my language, but unaliving somebody. They having full-blown conversations about unaliving somebody. Anyway, so at the end of the day, so we all like, okay, man, we up at Portage, boom. Everybody feeling the same way, like, man, I'm a medium inmate while I'm here, you know what I'm saying? We can't go nowhere. We only got a little courtyard with like 2 picnic tables. Yeah, every now and then we could go to the big courtyard, but that's not with, we can't be with nobody that's around that's actually maximum inmates. That's what they try to say, but yet it's still, we go to school with them. These maximum inmates around the gym with us. I'm talking about, man, it's just crazy kind of rules they have, man. But that's why, young fellas, you don't need to be going there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So we at the gym and everybody like we playing. I think I'm playing handball. I'm playing it with my little Hispanic buddy, man. We playing handball together. He like, man, hey, man, bro. He said, look. I'm like, what? He like, that Joe Jeffrey. So Jeffrey, come to find out that Jeffrey is a gym orderly. Now, normally, gym orderlies definitely be around us. We medium inmates, but they really don't supposed to have Jeffrey because Jeffrey is on protective. Jeffrey is in a protective unit with other people. And normally they don't have them out when we're out because they're on a protective unit. This day, they got Jeffrey cleaning up. He cleaning the weights. Now, when you look at him, brother, I'm gonna just say this. He did not look like he was like no weird person. He didn't look strange, anything like that, man. He looked like anybody else, man. If you didn't know what he was up there for, you wouldn't have been able to tell. He looked like one one of wimps. He looked real weak, but you never would have knew that he was that person. So it was him and this other black dude that was cleaning up, and you know what I'm saying. But everybody was focused on Jeffrey. Everybody like, man, you see him, man, you see him. Like, yeah, man, if I didn't have all that time. Now, I'm listening. These all jail stories. Everybody, if I didn't have all that time, man, I'd do something to him. I'd do this, I'd do that, man. Wisconsin, a lot of times they jacket, man. You had a certain amount of people that'll really do something, but a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't finna happen, man. Y'all just on something else, man. So, we all see them in there. We end up having our rec like 2 hours, whatever, man. We go back, we get to eat and everything like that. I think about an hour later, you hear the things going on, boom, boom, boom. Everybody running, the guards running. We're like, what's going on? Lock down. Now in the dormitory, we can't lock down. They mainly telling us to get on our bunks, just sit on our bunks and wait till they tell us that we can get off our bunks. See, they normally, when they did that, when they tell us to lock down, we all go to our bunks, then they'll come around and they'll do a count. They'll make sure everybody there, and then, You know what I'm saying? If it's a lockdown situation, we'll just sit there, and then eventually they gonna come in there and let us know. Like either they gonna do a search, people get to getting their stuff ready. If you got any kind of contraband, anything, you gonna put that up, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing about Wisconsin that was different from Georgia, we don't have a lot of contraband like that in the mediums. Now, in the minimums, yeah. In the mediums, we don't have phones. We don't have all that other stuff. You know, you might have Al Green, you may have your CDs and things like that, but you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have no phones and everything in it up in there like that. Like I said, this was mainly ran by the guards, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and these guards was definitely, I won't say racial prejudice, but I'm gonna say it's been fewer than many that got them to do something for them. I'm gonna just say that. Not hating on nobody, just saying. Now I'm not saying there ain't no guards that may do it. People don't be in everybody's business, but at the end of the day, it's fewer than many. I did like seven years, man, straight, and I haven't seen but about one or two guys that did something like that, man, with the guards. But you may be different. Anyway, like I say, man, so we go back to the doors. We hit a thing, the alarm going off on they walkie talkies, and when that's like cold blue, cold red, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they all running out, and they all running outside, and we look out the window. So like in the dormitories, you got windows that go around. Like on that, if you're on one side, like on a side, you can see one way. You can see like the yard with everybody on the yard, talk to people out there on the yard, everything like that, on the big yard. And on our side, on B side, you can see the inside courtyard, talk to everybody that's on the inside courtyard that come on the inside and come out for different dorms or going to school, things like that. So as we looking out the window, we see them all breaking out, and they running towards the gym. So we like, man, what the heck going on? What the heck going on, man? You know what I'm saying? We looking out the window, we see them in the gym, man. It must have been like an hour went past. We see them bringing out the gurney. We see the MLMs coming in there. I'm like, man, what's going on? Somebody must have got unalive. We don't know. We don't know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So one of our people come back because they work in the main kitchen that be serving. Because some of us, when you working there, you'll be working in the main kitchen too, not just on the dorm. They got a main kitchen that serve the whole institution. So we could get a job in the main kitchen. So one of our roadies come back from the main kitchen. It's like, man, Chris just unalived Dahmer and another fella. Like, what? Now, Chris didn't never have it all. He was on a not right unit, a crazy unit, you know what I'm saying, to get your mind right. So Chris didn't have it all, and at the end of the day, Chris never should have been out there. Like, they never walked them out there when people was walking, because it's a security risk. Somehow Chris got out there from his unit, from what my guy was telling me that came back from the kitchen. He was saying like Chris had a med call to go to get meds. As the guards was walking them to get med calls, he seen Dahmer in the gym and took off running because it was wide open. Took off running to the gym. He said the guard was chasing behind him, and as the guard chasing behind him, he said, dude, get up in there, grab the mop bucket, grab the mop handle, and once he grabbed the mop handle, he said the guard just froze, you know what I'm saying? And then he said, dude just got the beating Jeff. Boom, 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 got the welling on Jeff, welling on him. He said the mop handle broke, boom, and dude just kept welling on him, hitting him with it. He said after he finished with Jeffrey, it was another dude. Now this dude Also was on protected custody because he did something up there to a young child that was in a wall, was on like a Target parking lot. You know what I'm saying? And he said he went and tagged him. Boom, got to hitting him. Woom, 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 hitting him with the stick. End up, bam, bam, just hitting him. Said after the fact, the ambulance came, all of that. Come to find out that he ended up unaliving both of them boys. You know what I'm saying? Now, he didn't matter because he already had Life Plus. You know what I'm saying? So it really didn't matter to him. And he was already considered to be like this. But, you know, he really wasn't like that, man. He was a cool dude, man. I actually did time in the box with him, man, in the hole with him, man. And he was a cool dude, man. He said, you know, and then this right before I left, before they actually signed him up, because they end up sending him up to Supermax, man. The Supermax, like I told y'all, got to read everything on the mail. It's not like no step program. You kind of like the stuff in the feds where you like in Colorado, you just stuck in there. But yeah, he said, man, he been meaning to get at them boys, man. I mean, at the end of the day, man, you know what it is. You know, I think the moral of the story, man, is that, you know, when you doing something out there and you coming to jail, man, you gotta be careful about what you do, man, because no matter what state you in, no matter if the guards run anything, no matter, you know, what it is, man, people are still gonna be people, and they don't like what they don't like. So when you out here doing your stuff, man, if you're doing anything, I hope that you don't, you know, you got to be careful, man. And you got to be careful who you kicking it with, being around, man, because you could definitely end up with a place just like that. Now, man, I'm talking about, I'm up in there with a serial killer, man. A serial person that did serial things, man. And look, it could have just been easily me. He walking around like he ain't did nothing out there. Think about it. Think about it, man. And definitely, guys, subscribe if you like my stories, man. I got another banger coming out next time for y'all, man. Definitely subscribe, like, share. Love y'all. Bye.